Good evening, Mystic Quest Randomizer fans. Tonight we're going to bring you the fourth qualifier for Mystic Quest Randomizer Tournament. Tonight I will be joined by Jiggly Saint, and I only have two questions for tonight. Jiggly, how are you, and what can you tell us about our qualifier flags for tonight?
Well, let's see. Tonight I'm doing all right, and if I understand correctly, with the qualifier flags, we are running with vanilla treasure box locations. So no brown box shuffle. So that means that every chest is going to be a location where we find a key item. There's the NPCs. The battlefields are also, with the battlefield rewards are turned on, so that hasn't changed. Um, the enemy density, isn't the enemy density at 50%, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe so.
Yeah. So those of us who joined us last weekend for the qualifier number 3, that was definitely an interesting one.
Oh yeah, no, and hopefully we've had an update to the randomizer since then. So hopefully we don't have another incident like that. That being said, RNG can always play tricks on our runners tonight. And tonight we're going to be featuring X10 and Demon RHK. And it looks like our runners have just started the race tonight.
And it looks like we're starting off with bombs. Now, is that regular bombs or yeah, that's regular bombs, I think.
It is regular bombs. So whenever you start a randomizer seed, no matter what settings you choose, typically, you're always going to start with a tier 1 weapon. So if you choose to have progressive gear or not, the game will start you with a tier 1 weapon, just so that way you don't get something crazy like mega grenades at the start.
Yeah, mega grenades is, speaking of which, that is one of our go mode items. There are 3 go mode weapons that are required, and there's, I think 3 go mode items, or actually no, there's several of them. We're gonna need at the very least, we're gonna need the Sky Coin, the Sun Coin, the Mobius Crest.
And then we have the Captain's Cap and Thunder Rock.
And Thunder Rock, yes. And we did find a Venus key at Foresta.
Perfect.
Yep. And of course, there we go, everybody grabbing the Tristram 1. The dreaded Tristram 1. But yes, one of the things to consider is that we do not have progressive items on. So if we find an item, a weapon, or a piece of armor, that is what we're finding. So if we're lucky, we'll find some nice late game weapons or armor. There we go,
it looks like
River Coin.
Yep. And these early coins are definitely going to help determine the routing for this seed, because these runners will have decisions to make in terms of where to go with what items they have. Sometimes they'll be kind of put on track on rails and only have one option available to them. Other times our runners are going to have the run of the world, and it's up to them to kind of figure out the best course of action. So we'll see what kind of seed we get tonight.
Yeah, now right now with that River Coin, they can ditch Tristram right away and go grab Ruben. The only thing is, though, is that you want to go at least partway into the Bone Dungeon, because Tristram does have an item, and if you don't collect that item, you won't be able to cash in, his second item in Fireburg. So here we go, Steel Helmet.
And both of our runners matching up now. There was a bit of divergence there with the old man at the beginning, but our racers are now neck and neck. And let's see what Tristan gives us. Jumbo bombs.
That's not bad. That's probably going to put the Flamosaurus Rex, in a better, more favorable position to destroy. Although there are going to be 2 treasure chests, past the Flamosaurus fight, and there's also going to be 1 additional in the Quake chest. So 3 chests, that's pretty high density considering.
Yep, and I think all of our major dungeons have 3 to 4 chests, and all of our minor dungeons have 1 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And a major update that Wild Ham has made to the randomizer, he's made all mini bosses required. So the dual hand on Mount Gale, Medusa and Volcano, the giant crab at Fall Basin, these bosses are all now required to KO before you get access to the chest in that location.
Yeah, they actually are on top of the chest. The chest actually appears after they Oh, hey, look at that. We've got mega grenades. Okay.
Early megas. This is looking to be a fun seed indeed.
Now, the mega grenades are also really good too, because on top of getting Ruben's item at the mine, that also unlocks Ruben's father's item. It also unlocks 2 chests in the lava dome.
Mm-hmm. And just general access to any bomb location checks that you need, on top of being the most consistent damage that you can get out of all of your items. For those of you who don't know, explosive weapons never miss, and they can't crit, so it's just a good high tier damage consistency item to get early on.
As you can see, this boss is going down very quickly.
And it looks like X10's just barely ahead of Demon here. Demon's Tristan deciding to opt in for a nap there.
And there we go. After sitting through the long cutscene, we can now loot the treasury. What do we got? Was that the Mobius Crest? And Thunder.
Yep, Mobius Crest and Thunder. So we got a go mode item and arguably the weakest wizard spell. In early game, it's not really great to get wizard spells just because you don't have a lot of charges until about level 10, 12 to even play with.
Mm-hmm.
A question from the chat here: what if you randomize the damage sprites of the bosses sometimes start damage and undamage? That'd be a great thing to look into. Wildham, our developer, has been mentioning changes down the future of the randomizer. This is still a very young randomizer. I believe this only got propped up, about a year ago now?
Yeah, and what I can say is that this randomizer is definitely the best that we've got so far, because the randomizer that came before that, it was really, really something to behold.
And it looks like X10 there, relying on old muscle memory from Vanilla, trying to leave the Bone Dungeon via the jumping quicksand corner trick and getting stuck in a enemy encounter. Let's see if that pays off in being faster than just going around the enemies. Demon opting for the left route here. And getting around there just a bit ahead.
So unfortunately, we have the river coin. That does mean that we're not going to be able to loot the blizzard chest. Now we do have that Venus key, so that does open 2 NPC treasure chest checks. There's one treasure chest in Focus Tower, which is considered an NPC. And then there's also the chest next to Spencer and Spencer's Cave. That also is a new check. That's the one that replaces the Dragon Claw that Tristan would have given you.
Mm-hmm. And that one is also coded as an NPC. So both of the Venus chests here are basically coded to be character actors. So what that means is if you decide to shuffle NPCs that not always include key items, those chests can just give you consumables. And I'd heard you like having a nice can of soda.
Yep, the most useless of all the items, the refreshers.
And it looks like we got a claw over on Kappa's side here.
Ooh, a claw. Okay, nice. Unfortunately, without the multi-key, can't make that check down there. Actually, that's not entirely untrue. If we do find the Sun Coin, we can actually backdoor that multi-key room from Windia. And now we're gonna go check and see. Oh, did we not? Okay, so we're not checking. I didn't see what was on the NPC that sells us the axe. Normally.
I missed that as well.
Yeah, we're gonna go. This is, if I remember correctly, this is Vanilla Gemini Crest. What have we got? I mean, can you miss it? It looks like a Knight Sword.
And that'll let our runners access the Ice Pyramid and also the endgame Ice Pyramid revisit section.
So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you prefer to do? Do you prefer to go look for the Charm Claw item first, or do you prefer to go fight the boss?
I personally, when I route mines, I will go Charm Claw first, unless for some reason I do not have explosives.
Yeah.
A lot of times what I find is if I have exit, doing that Charm Claw check, it's faster to just go ahead and exit out as soon as I do Charm Claw and then leave and come back in. Just to save me that little extra bit of time going down to fight the Djinn to free Ruben's dad. And check Ruben here.
Yeah, well, usually I go after the Charm Claw, but because I like to shuffle the brown boxes, that also gives me access to the other checks as well. And of course, there's one check all the way down, the single chest, and you've got to walk, and then you got to use the, the claw. It's kind of a annoying check. Kind of a slow check.
Can be, yes.
Yeah. But of course, with brown boxes not shuffled in, that's not even a consideration here.
Yep. And it looks like we have another bout of divergence here. So it looks like Demon's opting to farm that 1200 battleground to try to get some cash to get our vendor lady. And potentially the rest of the vendors sorted out for the rest of the run. While X10 is just running straight to check Ruben and free his dad.
Yeah, 1200 GP, that's not terrible.
No, 1200 GP will get you set for basically all three vendors. Aquarius vendor requires 200 GP. Fireberg's requires 500, and Windia's requires 400.
I just thought of something that might be kind of annoying. What if the vendor itself is randomized?
That is an option. So looks like we got some noble armor from Ruben.
You mean you can change the location of where the vendor is?
So not necessarily, but you can change whether or not the vendor has key items or not. So your vendor could sell you a heal potion.
Yeah, no, I just meant like for example, there could be a vendor in Foresta instead of Fireberg.
It could be an option for future iterations.
There's the sand coin. So not that's pretty good. That's going to give us access to our favorite NPC.
Mm-hmm. And just like chat pointed out, that cash will also go a long way towards getting seeds for the routing as well, and I missed what Demon got from that vendor.
Here we go. Demon is going to go to the Charm Claw first, and there we go. That looks like heal magic off of Ruben's dad. Did we see what we got off of Ruben's Ruben? Here we go. We can see what the vendor has. Steel shield, okay.
So it looks like our runners are going to opt not to grab that.
There we go, vendor here. It's like, what was that? Missed that. That is one of the difficulties is because there's a lot of text mashing in this game. It's very easy to miss things.
And it looks like some eagle eyes in the chat have caught that it was a battle axe.
Okay, so
X10 opting to save the money for seeds for later, it looks like.
Yeah. Besides the fact that the giant's axe is still at large and it's not progressive items.
Yeah, but what a lot of runners will do is they'll opt, unless they just don't have an axe at all and they decide to go to the Alive Forest, a lot of our runners will better save their money for either endgame items or go mode items, or exit. Exits, no price is too steep for that spell.
Yeah, no, exit's possibly one of the most valuable spells out there.
I mean,
especially Randomizer, where you might be going in and out of different dungeons all the time.
Yep, and it looks like X10 just picked up a Charm Claw here.
The Charm Claw at the battlefield.
Yes, it looks like.
Yeah.
And now opting to go into Wintry Cave to get Phoebe's checks out of the way. So a little FYI about the way that the partner checks work in the randomizer. So getting the multi-key from Phoebe here.
That's access to the other area. So Sun Coin not necessarily required. Still in logic, but.
Mm-hmm. And a little FYI about the way the NPCs work here is all of our NPCs are coded to give you one item some of them are mixed up a little bit and streamlined to where you don't have to fall down to get your claw item or whatever item that Phoebe's going to give you. Ruben will always give you an item whether or not you free his father. Tristan will give you an item at both Bone Dungeon and if you check on him in the inn. And Kaylee will give you an item from her after battle with the Minotaur, and also when you check up on her in the Windia Inn.
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, you do need to, get that first check out of the way before their second level actually becomes available.
Correct. And it looks like Demon has opted to invest in seeds early. And we'll see if that pays off later in the routing.
Demon hasn't lost it. There's a reason why he got Tristram, and it's to get Ruben too.
Mm-hmm. And X10 picking up the magic mirror from the squid. This will definitely help with Ice Pyramid navigation if they decide to go there next.
Yeah, magic mirror, not specifically required, but definitely helps make things easier. The same goes with the mask. One could argue that the mask is kind of less useful, considering that it's only used in a couple of screens here in the volcano area.
Yeah, but any encounter avoided is time saved. And it looks like we're having our major route of diversion here. Demon opting to, looks like they're going to finish out Firebird or at least knock out Volcano, while X10 is looking to clean sweep out Aquaria.
I also had another thought too. Is what if the to add extra functionality to the mirror and the mask? What if all the treasure chests were invisible, unless you have those items?
That would definitely throw a wrench in our runners' plans for routing, and it would definitely add some more function to those.
Well, the thing is I think less about speed and more about making things have usefulness. But I know that not everyone shares my ideas, I guess you can say.
Well, it's always worth a suggestion. And if anybody wants to join us and kind of add to that commentary. Oh, and a big pickup from X10. Sorry to interrupt that train of thought, but that is definitely a game changer here. X10 decided to opt and go check the focus tower real quick, and that pays off big. Exit's definitely going to streamline a lot of these checks moving forward. So now X10 only has to travel half the distance going into all these dungeons.
X10 is going to do a special trick that you can do, that you can only do in the randomizer because of the way the events are set up. And first things first, he's going to, what is he going to do first? Going to go pick up Ruben too.
Let's see if he checks the multi-key house.
Probably going to check the multi-key house first.
And it looks like Demon got Flare from Medusa. That's also a huge game changer for our runners here. Getting those heavy spells early is definitely going to help make these boss fights a lot safer and a lot quicker.
Okay, well, yeah, so X10 is going to go into Windy. I'm going to check the vendor here.
Meteor from the vendor lady.
Meteor is actually a very nice spell, too, because, a lot of the endgame bosses are kind of strong against fire, but not necessarily Meteor.
Correct. I believe there's only one or two enemies that have Wake Water from Lava Dome life chest there from Demon.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, a few bosses have resistance to earth magic, specifically being Za, Pazuzu, and Dark King.
Now we're going to go check out the Moon Helmet chest.
And it looks like X10's farming up some XP here really early, since they have Phoebe 2 to basically tank and do all the damage for them.
So X10's gone into the Alive Forest. Yeah.
No, it looks like X10 took a battleground from what I could see. And Thunder Rock.
Battle thing, yeah. So.
Yep.
That's
and Thunder Rock from Demon. That's another Go mode item for them.
It's pretty good. We're gonna more explosives. That's always good to see.
So it does look like we're not going to be able to skip Lava Dome. That is a running theme in this randomizer. Sometimes you could skip a major dungeon. Some randos you won't even need to touch Ice Pyramid or Lava Dome. So it looks like we had a scenario where the world opened up to our runners, and now it's a matter of routing, and you can definitely see the divergence between our two runners here in their thought process. I'll be interested to hear from them after the runs to see what the thought process was by making these checks.
Go. I wonder if it would actually be fast. I guess it wouldn't be. Would it be faster to cast exit after hitting the switch?
It typically is.
Yeah.
But enemy layout could also be another factor here. If you've got a conga line of enemies sitting at the entrance of Lava Dome for you, it might be better to just kind of walk out, especially seeing as the rando is coded to have double movement speed for our character here.
Yep, and that is a very good thing, except for one specific area where it is kind of annoying.
Yeah, thin bridges in the Ice Pyramid or the Doom Castle can definitely throw a wrench in some plans here. Looks like X10 checking our Giant Axe chest in the Life Force and getting the Charm item. And we'll see if they decide to... Actually, they can't go on and fight Ghidra because they don't have Dragon Claw yet.
Yeah. And, of course, because we're not doing Brown Box Shuffle, none of those crest areas would have anything.
Correct. And we keep mentioning Brown Box Shuffle chat. That is a setting that you can toggle on if you create your own seed. That makes it to where key items can show up where brown boxes would normally show up in the vanilla game. Of course, the sprites will be changed and updated to make sure that you don't miss those. So any brown boxes containing key items will turn into red chests. But it definitely adds a different routing methodology to the game. Right now, with the seeds we're running, all key items can be located in vanilla locations, so from bosses or where they're normally found in the dungeon proper. And it's almost, it was brought up in the chat, it's almost like we are in a randomizer renaissance. I've been seeing more randomizers pop up for games in this last year than I think I've seen in a long time.
So do you want to explain what X10 just did here?
Sure can. As soon as I see what they got. I missed what the first chest was, but it looks like they picked up Cure from the second one.
In the Venus Shield chest.
Awesome. So Aegis Shield there is going to give them immunity to petrification and a lot of other nasty status ailments. So what they did here is they went into the sealed temple and they took the Gemini crest, and what the crests inside temples can often do is put you at a different overworld location. Now, normally, leaving from those locations would lock you in place on a small island, but specifically the sealed temple puts you in the wintry temple in Aquaria. And by using exit after taking the Gemini crest, they can get to this upper area without having to thaw out Aquaria and essentially break logic here. Now, whether or not that's going to pay off, we'll see after they get their checks in here. But the Aegis Shield is already an item that's worth going out of your way to get if you're worried about being petrified by the Dark King.
Considering what we've seen in Lava Dome, this probably actually isn't going to be as effective, since we saw the Wake Water and the Thunder Rock as well that was in the dome. So we had two Go Mode items, and what was that item?
I believe Thunder Rock was in Lava Dome. I did not see what the other one was.
Battlefield.
Oh, the Battlefield was... I missed it. I blinked.
Yeah.
I was watching the Wyvern fight. But we will get to see here shortly what Wyvern gives, and depending on how quickly X10 defeats this crab, we'll see what they're getting from there.
With the flare spell, that crab's going to be easy. Okay, there we go. That's Elixir.
Getting Elixir from the Wyvern.
Now,
so if Wither Tree's picked up, there could potentially be a Go Mode item hidden behind Kaylee too.
So what I was getting back to is, considering that we had so many Go Modes in the dome, doing the Wake Water skip wasn't quite as profitable this time around. But of course, that's what we know in hindsight.
It's always a gamble when you go in these randomizers, and especially with this current configuration our runners have, where the world is essentially open to them. By the way, did not miss it though, but X10 did just pick up Excalibur, and Demon just got Exit. So Demon now at the same pace, and I just missed what X10 grabbed.
This is why we opted to, for 2 restreamers instead of 4.
Yeah, keeping track of 4 of these at the same time would be nearly impossible. I am trying to catch gaps of downtime, but between flicking between the tracker and back over here, it can sometimes be a little difficult, chat. So thanks for bearing with us while we go through and try to give you the best commentary we can while updating you on what the runners have. Now, as soon as we see anything, we will be sure to update the tracker. This has definitely been an interesting case, though, especially with the divergence from our 2 runners here. It looks like Demon just got the Charm Claw from that battlefield. And now, opting to thaw out Aquaria.
Yeah, now, of course, one of the things about the Wake Water is that that's going to open up 2 checks down here in Spencer's place. But, of course, we have Mega Grenades and the Thunder Rocks, so you could actually skip going down into the basement this way, or, going, into the water area, and you could get the chests that way.
And that looks like exactly what Demon is thinking, since they have Thunder Rock and Mega Grenades. Once they make their way to Windia, they will probably be blowing up Spencer's place from the Rainbow Bridge and then checking the items in there that way.
Now, in Brown Box Shuffle, though, you definitely would want to check out Spencer's place from the from Aquaria, because there is a brown box that can be accessed only from that spot. You can check it if you don't have Mega Grenades, but you can't get it.
Indeed. And it looks like both of our runners conveniently fighting a crab at the same time. X10's being much weaker than Demons right now, and this is showing off exactly how nice it is to have that magic mirror and ice pyramid, and especially in these 2-way lanes. When you're funneled into having only one way to go, it doesn't really make that much a difference. But not having to take these encounters here and being able to walk around these enemies is definitely going to speed things along, and having that magic mirror is definitely facilitating that.
Yeah.
But when you're blocked off like this, it's never any good. And I'll finally get to see what dropped off this battleground. Demons taking the above Libra Temple battleground here. It looks like we got 5 encounters from this one.
Yeah. Well, what I always do personally is I always up the speed, or should I say speed to 4, so I don't miss anything.
An X10 falling to one of those hazards we mentioned earlier with the 2x speed. Went to go move along the path, but does pick up the Giant's Axe.
I mean, the fall might not have been intentional, but the fall would have been done eventually, because there is an item down there.
Correct. So not all bad for our runner here. Just a slight detour, and that just means that they can exit right away after defeating the boss instead of dropping down to check later.
Yeah. And now we're going down here.
And it looks like Wither Tree was dropped in the upper Libra battleground here. So both of our runners having Wither Tree, and it looks like Elixir being on the table for Demon might opt him to go back and check Kaylee 1 and 2 to see what items are given.
Now we
Demon picking up their Age of Shield.
We did find the Coveted Life spell in the Night Sword chest.
And Life is definitely one of the most busted iterations of Revive in all of Final Fantasy, I would believe. The spell just fixes everything. It's your flex tape of healing in this game. You slap that baby on there and it removes all status effects, cures you from Fatal, brings you up to full HP, the whole shebang at the low cost of 1 white charge.
The only thing that would make it more busted is if it actually fully restored all your magic.
Or multi-targeted. And I missed it. I don't know if X10 just opened up the save menu or if they actually saved there. But regardless, looks like they're prepping. Demon picking up the Sun Coin and the Moon Helmet from Spencer's Cave.
And now we've got the Ice Golem.
And Demon opting to go into Ice Pyramid as well.
Yeah, the Ice Golem's not going to take very long, not with all the Oh yeah, that's right. The ice golem is strong against earth attacks.
And I just missed what demon picked up. I was like trying to get ready for that. And I missed it again. I apologize.
Uh-oh.
But X10 making short work of that golem there. I think I just remembered X10 doesn't have flare yet. So we'll definitely we'll see a big discrepancy between Demon and X10 when they go through there, and the big difference between using Meteor here and Flare.
And what
Demon also not having the... Sorry, go ahead.
What was that magic ring?
Yes, it was. And it looks like the gas mask was the item first picked up in the ice pyramid.
Huh, interesting. So I guess that would be considered French vanilla, maybe?
A little bit. Instead of picking up the magic mirror in the magic mirror chest, you just get another visibility item. And X10 looks like they're going to be going in and doing some seed shopping, running a little low on their end. And now that they've cleared out all the vendors, all their spare cash can go into those tasty, tasty seeds, which restore your magic charges.
And unfortunately, Fireberg is the only place to get seeds until you take down Doulahan, or actually once you finish up at the ship.
Correct. So Fireberg really is kind of your hub. Getting access to it early is generally favored amongst our runners here because it is essentially your hub of the world. The only place you can't fast travel to from Fireberg is Foresta. So
yeah,
let's
but by
see
then you're probably done with that area anyway.
Unless you need to backtrack for Kaylee.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see which route our runners take here. If they decide to push forward to make their boldness known in Windia and skip Kaylee altogether, or if someone will take the backtrack trip to see what Kaylee 1 and Kaylee 2 has to offer before going to Windia here. So look, we're looking at a little case of flip-flop for our runners here. Demon already knocking out Volcano and Lava Dome, while X10 decided to skip and go to Aquaria. And it looks like Demon either intentionally took this fall as well. I'm wondering if X10 did the same since they have eggs and they decided to get this check out of the way before doing Ice Golem. So these could be calculated falls we're looking at here. And good old Bald Deuce over here on X10's side. But making short work of her with bringing Phoebe 2 in here. And getting Flare from Medusa as well.
Now it's onto the dome for X10.
And Demon did pick up that Giant's Axe from the drop chest from the from Ice Pyramid. And Demon now getting life. And speaking of life, in the life chest we have Wake Water for X10. So both of our runners here converging on their routes. I do not think either one is too far ahead of the other. I would not be surprised if both of our runners met up in Windia and are just about neck and neck with each other with the way that this routing is looking.
So, now that we're at it, let's see, what have we got left for go mode? We do need the Dragon Claw. We do need the Captain's Cap, correct?
Correct, and we need the Sky Coin.
Yes. So any one of those three items we need for go mode, but one of those items can't be on Pazuzu or on Ghidra.
Correct. So you will never find the Dragon Claw behind Pazuzu, Mount Gale, or Ghidra because you need the Dragon Claw to get to those locations. So it's not like you'd be able to just be soft lock out like that way. Wildham has gone out of the way, and we've had so many runners running so many seeds. We do have a seed report channel that any chances of not being able to get the Dragon Claw to make that progression has been taken care of.
Oh, then that means the Dragon Claw must be at Spencer's place.
It's looking like I can't think of any other locations that our runners haven't checked besides Kaylee. Kaylee could be holding on to the Dragon Claw, Kaylee 1 or Kaylee 2.
That's true. That is possible.
So
Now,
it
the
looks
good
like
thing
our
about Spencer's place with the Mobius crest is that we don't have to play the, we don't have to, do the puzzle.
Or our runners wouldn't be able to complete that puzzle anyways because they do not have the Libra crest yet.
That is true. That is true. But here we go. Like I was mentioning earlier, the fast way of getting these 2 checks out of the way.
Yep, and X10 getting his moon helm and his sun coin, and we get
Arrow. Oh my.
So it looks like Kaylee 1 or 2 is hoarding that dragon claw all to herself.
I'm gonna call Dragon Claw on Kaylee 1, and I'm gonna call the vanilla captain's cap on Kaylee 2.
I'll take you up on that action. I'll say the opposite. I will say Kaylee 2 is holding on to the dragon claw.
And it looks like X10. Oh. Yeah, X10 realizing, oh, we can't do this without the dragon claw.
Yep, and it's one of those small little memory checks you have to make for yourself. It's like, what can't I get? What locations require what items for progression?
Also locked out of the items here, I do believe.
Yes, so your item chest in vanilla for Pazuzu Tower are going to be on floor 6, floor 4, and of course the boss chest behind Pazuzu. All 3 of those require Dragon Claw after you get to the top of the tower to make that gap and then make your way back down the tower starting at floor 6. So it looks like X10 thankfully has exit, so they'll be able to make up for some of the time lost here after realizing what's going on. Yep, there we go.
Now, an early Pazuzu check, in Brown Box Shuffle, there are 2 chests that are reachable without the Dragon Claw. And there's also about 4 chests that are viewable, you know, from the first floor, so you can see whether or not there's anything there. And so Pazuzu with the Brown Box Shuffle, you get into the recon. Oh, that's right, I don't think we've checked the arrow chest yet.
I do not believe so either. So Demon's making a sprint for Kaylee. Let's see what's in the sun chest. Cupid Locket. So a great item, but not go mode related for X10 here. What the Cupid Locket will give our runners immunity from is confusion above all else. I believe also paralysis is on the table for the Locket set.
The paralysis, I think, is Venus Shield, I want to say.
Could be. I do mix up some of my invulnerabilities sometimes. Let's see what Kaylee 1 has for us, and let's see how they decide to dispatch the Minotaur. Not a lot of health, even if this Minotaur rolls high. So a good, well-placed Mega Grenade can put this down, but it looks like Demon opts for overkill here with Flare. And let's see what we get from Kaylee. And Kaylee 1 hands us Quake. Arguably the worst spell in the game.
Okay, so Kaylee 2 has to have Dragon Claw, and then I guess the biggest question is, then that means that we've got to take down 2 of the endgame bosses.
Potentially. P-Tower could have both of our go mode items without actually having to defeat the boss.
That's true. That's true.
And I did miss if X10 got a hold of Elixir. They must have, if they walk over to... No, so X10 does not have Elixir, so they won't be able to check Kaylee 2. So another major round of divergence here. Demon about to go pick up that Cupid Locket for himself.
So let's see now, where was the Elixir that was that? I want to say it was at a battlefield, but...
I believe so. And I'm trying to spot which one it was at. Demon opting to go for Giant Tree here. This could contain... no, this cannot contain our Dragon Claw, and I believe...
Yeah, we've already checked this check here.
I believe it was a low-end piece of armor that was in here, or noble armor.
Yeah, it was
Charm.
Charm.
Yeah, keeping track of all these checks, sometimes you just kind of go... An X10 opting for Mac's ship. Mac could be holding on to his own hat.
Oh.
Or the Sky Coin here.
Actually, I didn't realize that. I thought you needed the cat hat in order to get on the boat. But I guess that's vanilla.
Correct. The only thing you need Mac's cap for here is to clear out all the enemies on his boat and to be able to use the boat to sail to Doom Tower entrance. Once you free his ship, you have free reign to walk into it. Demon picking up Meteor from the house vendor here, and X10 making it short work of these Thanatoses, going to go check and see what's on the good captain's ship. And we're about to see what Kaylee 2 has from Demon's side here. Sky Coin.
So it is required.
Yep, and it looks like both of us are wrong. I am putting my money on...
Captain's no, the captain. Captain's got to be holding on to the dragon claw then.
Yeah, I was about to say, the good captain could be hoarding our Dragon Claw here. I can't think of any other checks that our runners haven't already done that could be holding on to that claw that isn't locked out by the claw itself. Demon also picking up air there.
Oh no, that's impossible. I was thinking, what if the Aegis shield chest had the claw? And it's like, no, wait, you can't do that.
And there's the Dragon Claw sitting in front of the good captain here. Now, both of our runners will have to make this trip to Captain Mac again since they don't have the hat to hand off.
Oh, a double dip ship.
Now, with our runners having exit, though, that will be no problem for them. Slight time loss there.
Now the question is, where do we go here? Going for Pazuzu, that's the highest density checks.
Correct. P-Tower will yield you 3 checks, 2 very quick ones with no boss fights required, and of course if they decide to fight Pazuzu, that'll give them their 3rd chest. So I think X10 here is banking on either the Sky Coin or the Captain's Cap being in those chests so they won't have to fight Pazuzu. And it looks like Demon's trying to figure out where to go from here. Looks like they've keyed into the fact that you don't need the Dragon Claw to get on Mac's ship. So it looks like Demon's taking off to check the good captain's ship here. X10 about to pick up another red chest here. Let's see what we got. After fighting some wizards, that is an irritating formation of enemies there. And so for those of you who might be familiar with Rando, just as a reminder, all these enemy locations have been randomized for the seeds for SpeedGaming Live. So these enemies can be placed anywhere, and you could have a conga line in your way before being able to check a red chest. And chat bringing up, imagine if you can randomize a Pazuzu's location. I believe Wild Ham has removed the option to be able to lock Pazuzu to floor 6 like you can in the randomizer. So sometimes you do have to hunt the big bird down and basically corner him. And some seeds are nicer than others. Demon getting that Dragon Claw and piecing right out, not even bother to talk to the good captain here. And it looks like, if I'm seeing correctly, Demon is missing only 1 Go Mode item, the Captain's Cap itself, Steel Sword from the first chest, and P-Tower from X10. Not what you want to see, but that is 1 of 3.
Yeah, I gotta go up this way first here.
Demon checking the Hermit's house. Getting the Venus Shield, and white is in the Excalibur chest.
Ooh.
So it looks like either Pazuzu or Ghidra or Doulahan are holding on to our Captain's Cap. Any bets on which nasty boss has that hat?
I mean, the most annoying one's probably Ghidra, because you've got to go through that whole dungeon. But Pazuzu's stronger.
And it looks like Demon's making a sprint for Doulahan here.
Now, Doulahan, if Doulahan has our item, that's probably the best case scenario.
Yeah, Doulahan is the fastest of those 3 checks and also the least terrifying. While they do a lot of upfront damage, not a lot of status effects from Doulahan besides instant death. And sleep.
True. So, the Doulahan is strong against the fire, but doesn't have any weakness against earth.
And I believe both of our runners have Meteor, so being able to just make that quick switch over and deal that.
That's right. Only X10 has white.
Correct. And it looks like X10 opting to have Phoebe take some damage there to expedite that fight with those boss mobs. That is a strategy that you could take. Phoebe has enough HP to tank one of those hits if they decide to cast on an enemy with Reflect. So it looks like that was a strategic choice from X10's side. And Demon about to take up the Doulahan here. Let's see how this goes. X10 looks like they're cornering Pazuzu.
It's going to be a fairly quick and painless fight.
Yeah, Phoebe has so many resistances to what Doulahan can do, and Ben's at level 16, so even though he'll be taking some healthy damage from some of these attacks, being able to dish it out himself is definitely a blessing. And if anything, and if Doulahan is holding on to a go mode item here, this will be cathartic revenge for last Sunday's seed here. Apollo Helm.
Vanilla Apollo Helm.
So it looks like either Pazuzu or Ghidra has our good captain's hat.
We are essentially in hat mode.
We are in hat mode. We're about to see from X10, once they finish cornering Pazuzu, if they have the hat. Demon also making a sprint for Ghidra here. We'll see which one of our runners get there first. I am excited to see who has that hat. It is quite stylish. I wouldn't mind having one myself.
Here we go. We have Demon going after Ghidra.
And the two checks here are technical in their own rights. The chest, the tree here, having to deal with mob placement can be kind of annoying, but it's more tedious in terms of the platforming and the navigation of the mushroom rooms, whereas Pazuzu's tower is just crammed full of enemies, and having to chase down the big bird and lock him between floors here is the time waste in its own right.
Sorry to bother you. Did that enemy just spawn on top of the claw hold?
Indeed it did, and that can happen. Now, for anybody joining us and thinking about doing the randomizer, just be assured that enemies can't spawn in front of grapple points. That has been coded out. I heard stories about when this was being developed and tested, we'd have some instances of enemies spawning in front of grapple points and enemies spawning out of bounds. Always fun to see someone just hanging out in lava in the lava dome. But since then, those have been fixed, and then it's no longer the case. You should never be impeded by an enemy's placement in terms of puzzle progression.
I've seen enemies hide out behind, one tile wide spots where the chests are. Yeah, so. But they're not hurting anybody, just hanging out there.
Sitting there minding their own business, just chilling. It looks like X10 trying to remember how to get to floor 5 in a way that will let them fight the big bird here. I believe they will have to go to floor 3 and go up. The route I usually take here is to just exit and then take the route from floor 3 to floor 5, typically being the fastest option, I believe. And it looks like X10's gone down the floor 1 to go to 3 to go to 5. So it really is a race to see who's got what here. And even if X10 does get the captain's cap from Pazuzu, they still have to hunt down the sky coin. So it will not be, Demon will not be out of the running here.
Here we go.
And here we Oh no, and Demon taking a fall from the claw wall. That is an annoying part of the tree that a lot of our runners have to deal with in terms of the traversal here.
Like Demon getting a little turned around there.
Ooh, and Phoebe's been petrified. That is like the one status element you don't want to see from this stupid sexy bird here.
And that's the reason why Life on Ben is very useful.
Now, if you don't have Life on Ben, Heal is a good backup for Petrify, but if your Phoebe goes down and you don't have Life, you are huffing it on your own, and oftentimes it will just lead to a wipe. Looks like we got a fairly chunky bird on our hands here. And there we go. There's the stupid sexy Pazuzu pose. We are getting close to seeing what the big bird has from X10. Demon completing the wall there with the 2x speed. I believe Ben also falls as fast when you let go, so being able to re-grab there is definitely a test of the reflexes, to say the least. And some thick enemy placement in the tree. A lot more enemies than you normally see in here. And Libra crest from the big bird, so it looks like Ghidra has our hat.
Oh, hold on a second. That's not all entirely true.
You are correct.
The Libra Crest does open up one more check.
And it looks like X10's opting to go check the Libra Temple over going to fight Ghidra. So we still have options available to our runners.
I mean, I'd rather do anything besides fight Ghidra.
Very true. And making use of the teleportation system between cities to get in and out quickly. Demon coming up on the last door here and having to fight him way through an army of monsters here. Been quite the slog on Demon's side, but let's see if it pays off for him. X10 making our Libra check here, and we are going to get from the old man the captain's cap.
Oh, Pazuzu was our oh man. That means X10 power only needs that Sky Coin, which needs that elixir.
While Demon will have to, once Demon finishes out Tree, they will have to surmount Pazuzu's tower and then double back to the Libra Temple to get their last go mode item.
So does that mean Ghidra has Blizzard then? I don't think we found Blizzard, have we?
I believe we got Blizzard. I'm trying to sneak a peek at our runners' inventories to check. It's been a little bit since they got their last black magic spell. X10 having to narrow down where exactly that Sky Coin was. I believe Sky Coin was from, like you said, Kaylee 2.
Yeah, no, it's the elixir that we don't remember where it's from.
I'm trying to remember if it was from a battleground. Because I believe our runners have...
Here we go. Looks like Demon did take down Ghidra.
And we're going to go see what the chest has had. This is the only chest where the boss isn't sitting on top of it. It's in its vanilla location, but Wild Ham has done some cheeky coding here and just made the door not open to you until you defeat Ghidra. So the frowny face door here will let you enter once you kill the boss, and we get the Gaia armor.
You know what?
Not a bad piece of gear to get, but...
You know what? That's actually pretty good. I'd say Demon's probably in a more comfortable position. He's got to go finish up Pazuzu, but Gaia's armor, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're a little bit more defense between Noble Armor and Gaia. Not much. I believe it's only like 2 or 3 points that it does give you, but it also gives you immunity to sleep on top of the and water resistance. Which the Noble Armor does not provide. Noble Armor only gives you immunity from poison.
I thought water was no. Noble Armor does give you water resistance, because why would it be in the water dungeon?
I think it does.
Think about that. You know, the Noble Armor protects against water. You know, that's the to fight the boss there, and then of course you find the Moon Helm and the Lava Dome. So. Kind of
Sounds
a logic there. And then of course Gaia's at the very end, and yeah, you know, Gaia's there after you fought all of the bosses.
I'm still wrapping my brain around trying to figure out where our elixir was. Looks like X10 not realizing they don't have the Sky Coin yet. Looks like they're about to either try to make a trip the Doom Tower, or is just getting Captain Mac out of the way.
You know, maybe they're gonna go check the Aegis Shield chest, because that is in logic.
It could technically be there if it was in logic. That would be rather mean. I don't think I've ever had a seed do that to me before, but it's definitely not out of the question.
At the very least, you know, you finish up the ship. You know, it's there when you come back to it. And that does unlock another seed, you know, buying location.
True. I believe one of the fastest seed buying options for our runners here, especially before they surmount Doom Tower. And Demon opted to be a little conservative here with this same formation that X10 just decided to plow through with White. X10 gonna load up on seeds here before going to Doom Tower to check the Gaia armor chest or Aegis shield chest, right?
Yeah.
Aegis shield. That's right. Captain has the Gaia armor chest.
So here we go, Doom Castle. And you know what? It actually does make sense to check the Doom Castle, because if this is your go mode, then you can keep going. If not, you do have exit. This
True,
is
and
a
is
check
it?
I don't think you'd want to do if you didn't have. Actually, you know what? I oh, there's fire.
Ooh, fire.
I was gonna say, I think you could actually have the Dragon Claw in that chest, because I don't think you actually needed the Dragon Claw to get down there. You just, I mean, you need grenades, but you also need grenades to get there anyway.
I'll have to ask Ham about that, but I think the logic there is essentially, since it is your final destination, he might have been kind and removed that from the logic, but that is totally plausible. I'll have to ask Ham after the run here, see if that is an option on the table.
Logic, maybe it should be.
Next 10 now scrambling to try to find what's left for them to find. Of course, we spectators do know that he is missing elixir to check Kaylee 2 to get that sky coin. And Demon here narrowing down Pazuzu's escape routes and getting ready to fight the big bird here. And then once they get that Libra crest, they'll just have to go to Libra Temple, and then they will be on their way to the final boss.
Yep.
And P-Tower is always a tricky castle to navigate, especially if you're not very familiar with the layout or it's been a while since you've run the game. I believe two of the most dreaded configurations of dungeons are the Giant Tree and P-Tower, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think any other dungeon's quite as confusing in its layout and the way the mechanic works with narrowing down the boss.
Yeah, I prefer P-Tower over Giant Tree any day, honestly.
Same. I once you get used to the game and you kind of route out where you need to go and figure out the mechanics of each dungeon, P-Tower is by far and away the faster of the two dungeons. The tree being so convoluted with all the mushroom layouts and the claw walls and the grapple points. It just kind of bogs you down, and needing to backtrack down the floor too, just to make a chest check after fighting the boss. The demon fighting the stupid sexy bird here. Let's see if they make short work of Pazuzu here. And just because Phoebe 2 is in your party here does not mean that this is an easy fight by any means. One slip up here if Pazuzu's got enough health and you accidentally make a big spell cast on the Psy Shield, and that is a restart for you, my friend.
Ooh. So the Gaia armor would definitely be useful in this fight, I'm sure.
Definitely. Not only would it help tank some more of those hits from Pazuzu, I do believe just having immunity to any of those status elements would come in handy. And already down to stupid sexy bird phase for Demon. Psy Shield is up, but Phoebe having a chance to crit with that bow does nearly as much as her white damage. Let's see if we get some lucky crits. There's the first crit, 1800 from Demon, followed up with a sword hit. Not quite enough to finish off the stupid bird. Going in for, looks like we were going to go in for all damage here, but decided to play it conservative with Ben casting the heal while taking a chance on Phoebe on getting another crit. Psy Shield is down, so magic is back on the table. And Demon just barely eking it out there with that HP pool. 36 left on the table, but this should probably be the last round. And Pazuzu goes down.
would like to point out that having the Libra crest lead to the captain's cap, you gotta love the chain reaction seeds.
Oh yeah, definitely. The fetch quest seeds are some of the most interesting ones by far. Having a item that leads you to one side of the world just to find out that it leads you to another item that leads you back to the other side of the world. Definitely get your steps in those seeds.
Like I said, we already have the double dip ship.
Indeed. And Demon opting to take that one-way trip to Fireberg to go to the Libra Temple, stopping by to buy some seeds here instead of buying them on Mac's ship. And X10 taking on Ghidra here should make short work of this boss. And it was not one way. Demon did have a multi-key. I just missed them picking it up.
Yeah, they both had the multi-key.
And there is our hat. Demon is in go mode, chat. So with everything checked off here, Demon can make their way straight to the end of the game. They will have to fight the gauntlet. We are in standard configuration for Doom Castle here. So in the randomizer seeds options, we do have 3 configurations for Doom Castle. We have standard, which is just like the vanilla game. We have boss rush mode, which turns your staircase into a location to fight all 4 bosses before taking on Dark King with none of the extra dungeon fluff. And then we have a straight to King mode where you do not fight any of the refights. You don't go through any of the standard dungeon configurations. You just march your butt up those stairs and you go confront the Dark King himself. Demon will have to take a short detour here, though, to go talk to Captain Mac again to hand off that hat before he gets control of that ship. X10 about to pick up our Gaia armor here.
I always felt like the ship should have had another mini boss.
It would have been interesting, but with it being so cluttered full of monsters, especially, I think these are Doom Tower equivalent bosses here. I mean, not monsters here. It is no slouch in the fight in vanilla. Great place to farm for levels, though. And the hat has been turned in. Demon will be sailing this ship right on to Doom Tower. And it looks like X10's trying to remember which battleground they might not have completed to get that elixir. I'm wondering if X10 did grab the battleground south of Mines.
You mean the one with the Gemini crest?
Was that where Gemini Crest was?
Well, no, that's where the Gemini crest is in vanilla.
Ah, gotcha. Yep, looks like the battlegrounds have been cleared out.
Yeah.
Demon opting to check this final chest to get that fire spell. Always leaves a sour taste in the mouth.
I forget, you get it. Yeah, you get exit after you in vanilla. You do get exit after you thaw out Aquaria, right? Or
I believe so.
it's the one that you get after the lava dome.
No, I believe it's the one after above the Libra Temple, and that's right. The Wyvern had elixir, so X10 will have to slog their way through hitting the switch and then going all the way to the Wyvern to get their last go mode item, or get access to their last go mode item here. Demon opting to use a life over exit. I often find that's the most consistent way to clear out these fights, especially this first one with Rex. Just popping an easy life from your companion. As a reminder, if you yourself try to cast life, it won't work for some reason. The game's just coded that way. So you have to use your partner to cast life there, but it's an easy KO from there for the first refight. And Demon is officially in the tower.
Yep. First up is the ice maze.
And X10 also opting to walk out instead of exiting out and then going back down to our entrance here to get to the end of Lava Dome. From what I remember from Demon's Trek here, not too enemy dense. They will probably have about 3 or 4 fights on the way. Nothing crazy. Now, these floor configurations do take a little bit to get memorized. They're not exactly like they are from the original dungeons, often requiring a little bit more jumping and maybe a little bit more tedious navigation from our runners here. But after about your third or fourth seed of having to do it, you get those down pretty quickly.
So what was it that X10 noped out of Wyvern?
I don't believe X10 stepped foot in here at all, or no, they checked life
They would have
and moon helmet, and then they noped out after grabbing the moon helmet chest.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that's why, because because I know they have the Thunder Rock.
And it's not an uncommon strategy. It's a gamble, but you know, with the density of chests being how it is and how spread out it is, you could save time by just skipping the Wyvern altogether, because it's a long cutscene after you free the crystal here of watching that lava flow, and a lot of runners would opt to just not watch it at all.
Yeah, it's kind of a time loss if there's nothing there.
Demon making their way over to the lava section. So it looks like we might have 2 Wyvern fights on our screen at the same time, depending on how quickly X10 takes out the original here. And it looks like they have a clean route to the Wyvern refight here. I believe this one's called Hydra, if I'm not mistaken.
Twin-headed Hydra, yeah. Nope, twin-headed Wyvern.
Yep, so Demon's taking on Wyvern as X10 takes out Hydra here. And again, the lengthy cutscene here, watching the fire crystal be freed, then the volcano erupting, then watching the lava flow go. Eagle-eyed viewers can go ahead and watch on X10 screen, though. There is a cute little sprite glitch here after the lava flow completes or gets near completion. And if you check the top left of the screen here, a little random pixel just shows up there in the top left. I don't know what that mystery sprite is, and I've never bothered to ask. X10 and knowing immediately where to go with that elixir now, though, and making a beeline for Kaylee 2 as we speak, I believe.
You know, I kind of wonder if maybe that's actually Ben.
It could be.
Yeah, because I know that in a lot of games, you know, with the cutscenes, you know, they actually warp the player into a scene and make them invisible or hide them somehow.
It could be. I remember talking to Ham and Caleb about it, and I believe it's just an actor glitch from the way the lava flow cutscene has been played out. And they just never bothered to fix it, so it's just been an Easter egg from this point.
This game actually does have a few bugs. I mean, fortunately, no bugs in the way it actually deals with the games played. Not like with some of the other Final Fantasies and their incredibly broken gameplay. But there's also the mysteriously solid area in the mines.
True, and I don't think it would be a Final Fantasy without little glitches like that. Not nearly on the same level as a Bethesda game, but you know, cute little glitches here and there. Some being bigger than others. I'm thinking of what is it? How many exits is it in Final Fantasy 1 or 2? To just completely skip to the end of the game or the credits, or is it Final Fantasy 4?
Final Fantasy 4 is the one that has the 64 scare glitch, I believe.
There we go. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, just simply walk up and down the steps 64 times, and you too can easily complete Final Fantasy 4 yourself.
And there we go. Go mode Skycoin.
Demon making their way to Zuh, another stupid sexy bird for our runners to destroy here. This one being flanked by some companions. We'll see how much HP this big bird rolled. Next 10 making a beeline for the castle. They are not stopping for anything here. Already cleared out Mac's ship as well, so they don't need to re-clear out the ship. Just getting on that steering wheel and taking it. And Zuh not rolling a lot of HP, going down relatively quickly here. And a common strategy for my runners here, just taking this fall here down to the lava section, usually quicker than having to navigate that narrow bridgeway to get back to the entrance of the sky section.
And here we go. God.
So this statue cutscene here will essentially function as an in for our runners, restoring all their spell charge slots and filling both of our heroes up to full HP and curing any status ailments. Demon not opting to take the 25 seed chest on the right hand side and going straight into Dark King. We'll pause for a moment here just so everybody can enjoy this sweet, sweet boss music. And a relatively low set of HP for phases 1 and 2 here. Not a lot of hits taken for those transitions. Now, Dark King himself is hitting still pretty hard, but each one of these phases rolls independently HP values, so they can be rather high or they can all be rather low here. Let's see if Demon cruises on to phase 4 if we're going to be on phase 3 for a little bit here.
So, which one of the phases is the worst one?
Personally, I find phase 2 being the most annoying, since the Dark King can use that bow and heal himself for about 1000 HP while also dealing a good chunk of damage to one of your party members. Other runners would argue that phase 3-4, since they do have the same move sets, are definitely annoying and where you could die the easiest. However, I find it has the most predictable move set, since there's only about 4 or 5 moves that the Dark King cycles through between here, and only 2 of them can really kill a low-level Ben outright. Those being laser and a bad set of combinations from either flare if you don't have fire resistance, or mega white if you're just really low on HP. Or spiderlings. I always forget about the baby spiders, but they deal a nasty chunk of damage. And Demon just chugging along here. This is a rather chunky phase 3 Dark King.
Yeah, I was gonna say not at phase 4 already. Oh.
But Demon definitely has all the armor and all the firepower they need to get through here. And at level 22, just barely able to survive the baby spider. So not having to worry about being instant KO'd if Phoebe ever does unfortunately go down. We are moving into phase 4 here, so we are in the final phase. Let's see how much HP this last phase has. X10 making their way up the tower rather quickly, though. Already on the Wyvern refight. Still anybody's game until that Dark King flashes red.
More golden webs.
Oh. This time focused on Ben, but he is KO'd.
Oh no, there goes. Oh.
Yeah, and these nasty status ailments from the last Dark King. Phoebe does not have immunity from confusion nor poison. Confusion being the worst of the two. Although, thankfully, it looks like Demon gets away with not having Phoebe murder the party outright.
There's a
solid recovery.
White.
I always love that little touch. It's like, how do we make white evil? I know, let's just add skulls right before it.
It's like the white Medio in Final Fantasy IV almost.
And that is time for Demon with a 1 hour, 12 minute and 40 second time. GG's to Demon. X10 not far behind, making his way to the Zilla refight. We'll go ahead and check in and see how our other runners in the qualifier have done tonight. Just because we're streaming Demon, restreaming Demon and X10 does not mean we didn't have a lot of other great runners for tonight. So it looks like in first place we have the RPG chick with 1 hour, 1 minute, 52 seconds. Wild Ham, the randomizer developer, coming in second with 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 16 seconds. And in third place is Demon with his 1 hour, 12 minute, and 41 second time. And let's go ahead and see if we can get Demon in here for an interview. I'll go ahead and mute myself while I type. I did notice that I was making quite a lot of clacky clack sounds earlier. I apologize about that, chat. And we are joined here by Demon RHK. GG's, Demon.
Thank you. Nice little casual 100%.
Just just clearing out every chest in the game. So walk us through what was going through your mind with the routing. It looks like very early on, while it looked like you were basically tracked to Fireberg, the world quickly opened up here. So I do want to kind of pick your brain and see what your thought process was about some of those decisions, because the world was kind of your oyster there in the beginning.
Well, I'm a fan of, if I can clear Fireberg area, I will clear Fireberg area. I'm one of the few people, I love doing Lava Dome. Lava Dome is probably one of my favorite dungeons, and I know that's like a 4-letter word to most runners, but I get so many forced encounters through there that I feel if I ever have to full clear Lava Dome or go through it, I'm always going to be 20 plus going into Dark King. I never have to worry about getting one tapped by laser, one tapped by spiders, because I've got all those extra fights. It's such a high experience area. And yeah, I wanted to go ahead and be like, okay, I don't have to come back to Fireberg, even though I did end up mine-holing what's his name, the friend behind the multi-key for a while, and thought I bit myself when I was looking for the Dragon Claw.
And we just call him the Hermit. I don't think anybody remembers the friend's name. We just know he used to sell mega grenades, and now he makes funny memes if you get locked in that room with him if you don't have the multi-key. But yeah, no, it definitely looks like the seed had to travel the world a bit. So when you made that gamble to go between those last 3 locations in Windia, what was going through your mind there? Were you trying to check for density or basically speed at that point, or taking a gamble with the tree first?
I hate Pazuzu's tower. I hate Pazuzu's tower with an absolute fiery passion. I will take tree over Pazuzu 100% of the time. Even though I fell and lost like 90 seconds.
Definitely a man of divisive opinions here. I think you have the hottest takes of anybody we've interviewed so far. I think most people generally hate the tree, and they definitely hate Lava Dome. So it's a little refreshing to have someone in the community who just loves those locations. So going through your mind here, what would you say was kind of the high point and kind of the low point of this seed in particular? Things that kind of stood out to you that you really enjoyed?
I really enjoyed how the game started over by, hey, here's a bomb start, and then you walk up and Tristan goes, hey, have some better bombs, and then you get to the Quake chest and it's like, hey, have some even better bombs.
Yeah, definitely an explosive seed.
Yeah, and then you get over and it's like, okay, well, I've got a river coin, so let's get over here, and I've got my, wait, I have no claw, I have no sword. I think I had an axe actually because I got it out of the level forest, but it's like, I don't expect to ever be walking in, like, usually I'm looking for the mega grenades before I go into mine, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I guess I'll clear battlefields, look out and get a cat claw or something.
Yeah, hunting for the claw, I think, is almost as bad as hunting for explosives, some seeds. But you definitely navigated that very well, and, you know, I think a lot of good logical checks were taken. At any point, did you consider, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jiggly, was it X10 or was it Demon who decided to break logic a little bit and take that exit out of the sealed temple?
Well, which one didn't go into the dome first?
Yeah, that would have had to been X10. I didn't exit out of.
Yeah, that's right. Because you're the one who went to the dome. You got the wake water. That's where you got the elixir. Yeah, so X10 was the one who decided to break the logic there.
I do have to ask, once you got Elixir for Wyvern, did you think that you were kind of on the wrong track, or did you have a feeling that Kaylee might reward you with something good there?
I had a decent feeling. Kaylee's not a very high, a high priority check for a lot of runners, and I'd already kind of mapped it out in my mind. I already had sold myself on, okay, Ruben 2 is cool. I'm going to clear out everything I can with Ruben 2 in the Aquaria area. Then I'll grab Phoebe, do her individual check, finish clearing Wintry, and then I already knew I was going back for Kaylee because that's how I was going to dump Phoebe to get Phoebe 2. So once I saw the Elixir, I was pretty well just sold on, okay, well, I guess I'm going back to Forest immediately after Aquaria.
Solid logic there. And it looks like X10 just finished. GG's to X10. Let's see if we can get them in here for a co-interview, if you don't mind, Demon.
Of course.
And we are joined by X10 here. GG's X.
Thank you. How's everyone doing?
Doing great. And it looks like you wrapped up with a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, 59 seconds. Definitely a pretty good spread between all of our runners here. No one finishing sub-hour from what I can tell. We do still have one runner still in progress. We'll check in on them a little bit later. We were just picking Demon's brain a little bit here on some of the routing decisions. So I did want to kind of redirect those questions at you. How do you feel overall about the seed in terms of the item spread and location spread? And I guess we'll start with the starting area.
Oh, I love the start. Like, oh, bomb? Oh, more bombs? Oh, more bombs!
Yeah, definitely an explosive start. Now, in terms of how open this seed was, kind of walk us through your routing methods. Are you more of a person to kind of clear out an area that you've been first handed off to, or once you get handed an item to go to another section that might be a little bit easier, do you decide to dump all your chips into that area first instead of staying in the course where you were originally directed?
I kind of tend to clear the fastest checks I can in the area. If I get something that helps me in another area where I can do a quick check, I'll hop over to that area and leave like the big checks for last.
Fair enough. And is that just because you've been bitten one too many times by doing a full check, or is it just kind of playing the power game and going for the weaker areas first because they tend to be the fastest?
It's more like I like to gamble.
It's fair. A lot of speed can be gained from the gamble. I believe we saw you take one of the big gambles that we like to see in the community, which is basically grabbing the first two checks in Lava Dome and then exiting out and cutting your losses with the Hydra there. How are you feeling hunting down that hat? Because I knew it must have been arduous knowing that was your last item to go.
Actually, the hat wasn't. It was the sky coin I couldn't find.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me redirect. Demon, how did you feel hunting down the hat?
It was not fun. Can they just open a haberdashery and an Aquaria, please? Just, I can pick up a spare.
Shouldn't this captain be more prepared and have more than one hat? Come on, what kind of captain is Mac?
Exactly.
But definitely a lot of divergence from you two. It was really refreshing to see. Now, not great for me trying to keep track of everything, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, at one point we had one of you beelining it for Aquaria and doing a full clear while the other one decided to kind of stay the course in Fireberg. Neither one of those being exactly better than the other. I think both of our two starting locations offered go mode items of their own accord. So definitely a close race. At one point, basically the two of you traded places. We had someone in Volcano while the other one was in Ice Pyramid, and then we had a vice versa swap. Definitely not a ton of places you could check after that point, but at the end, it really just kind of boiled down to hunting down the Sky Coin in the hat, and Demon just having the slight edge there with grabbing the elixir and deciding to full clear out Lava Dome. But I do want to congratulate both of you for doing an excellent job tonight, especially with all the backtracking the seed had to offer. And I wanted to get an opinion from the two of you in terms of seed composition, and specifically for the SGL seeds. Do you tend to like the more puzzle, open seeds where it's like you have to take a big gamble on a location is generally where most of your checks are, or do you generally like a seed that's a little more railroaded at the start, and kind of putting you on the tracks to at least clear out a section before you move on to the next area?
I guess I'll take this one first. I kind of take the more chaos, like the more chaotic I have to look around. That's what I enjoy the most.
I can definitely
think-
feel that. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say, I personally feel like I prefer a little bit more of the intuitive routing decisions, or the less intuitive routing decisions, where you have to make not so much a gamble, but more of just, weighing your best of two. Like it really comes down to when you're in your first area, when you're in the forest area, what coin do you want to see first? And I know I am a proponent of I want to see river coin first. Put me in Fireburg. That's where I'm at home. If I'm in Fireburg, I'm in my best zone there because I can do everything I want there. I've got all those different checks. And it's just where some of my, favorite routing area comes out of.
Yeah, we often refer to Fireburg as the hub of the world. The only place it can't send you is Forest 10. Are you also of the same mindset that you would rather get Fireburg first out of the three locations?
Well, I've learned from a previous seed not to get the Sun Coin first.
We're trying to purge that from our memory.
I'm still trying. I keep dreaming about it. No, I actually prefer going to the first area, Aquarius first.
Just liking the lower risk and higher reward in terms of enemy density there.
It's more of I just don't like all the shaking, and I hate going to the lava dome. Like I despise it.
A lot. Demon was commenting they actually enjoy Lava Dome and what was the other tree, big tree. So definitely a divisive take there, and I think all of our runners definitely have a favorite location to go through in terms of speed. So I did have one final question for you guys before we go ahead and sign off for the night. Did you guys have a good time? Did you enjoy this seed?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is it better than last week's seed?
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I played that last one.
For sure.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, definitely a struggle. X10, I still want to give you kudos for finishing out that seed, rewatching that run and that determination you had to get that finished, and the play you had there was great. But I think you both did excellent tonight. So kudos to both of you. I'm excited to see what the brackets look like next weekend. Do either one of you have plans for continuing on with the qualifiers tomorrow or Sunday?
I do. For both.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing how you both perform tonight. I think that's all the time we have for tonight. So again, a huge GGs to the both of you. You both did fantastic. For those of you checking out the chat or tuning in the chat, feel free to check us out tomorrow at 9:15 at the same time on one of the SGL channels. We should have the information on the site on which channel we're going to go on. A huge thanks for SGL for hosting this event. And I want to go ahead and give us a good night to everybody. We look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night.